Welcome to the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. We discuss 6 questions in less than 9 minutes because leaders know how to be concise. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. First question, in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Warren Whitlock. I am a futurist living in the future. I don't see any reason to bother with the past other than to learn from it, of course. And success and failure is just data. So always going to the future. Right now, we're looking at some emerging technologies in publishing, specifically on one site I'm running, and also anything having to do with blockchain, AI, that sort of thing. I advise several companies in that space.
You are a busy guy, that's for sure. Well, second question, what's the best thing about working with a team?
Not having to do it myself. Yeah, people will always let you down. They can't, they aren't you, but you can't get anything. You reach a limit of what you can get done unless you're able to get along with other people.
Great insight. Third question. I hear from other team leaders that it can be a challenge to get the team members engaged. What are your thoughts on that?
I think every relationship is a personal relationship, and so there's different ways to do it. I remember when I had quite a few employees, and one that I really loved did a great job of everything she worked on. I walked into we had a little bit of a warehouse shelving with some items on it, and she was checking on something, and I walked in that area and found her crying, and realized that there wasn't anything I could do about the problem. Problem was something external to the job. And I said, anytime you want to talk to me, I'm willing to listen. And, if you need to go take care of something, do that. Even if I'm making a speech, people used to say, turn your cell phones off. I say, keep your cell phone on if you need to. If you're expecting something, you got an important call, please don't take the call in the middle of the meeting. But, do whatever you can. And then it's my job to make sure that people pay attention to what's going on in the meeting.
That's a great insight about keeping it as a personal relationship. Thank you. Question number 4, what other piece of advice would you give to a leader of a team?
Gosh, be a leader. You're there for your people. You're not there to get them to do stuff for you, which is, actually the opposite of what I said as a team. You can get more done. But the team, I remember seeing an article about teams that laughed and had a good time would make 25-30% improvement. So I sent out a memo demanding that everybody be happy on the job. I actually did because it got a laugh. Yeah, you want people to be happy on what they're doing and moving towards a common goal. So very clear communication on what that goal is, and then make sure they are having a good enough time that they really enjoy what they're doing. It doesn't mean that you have to have a party or play ping pong. It means that the people have to enjoy whatever it is they have to do. And I think you can make anything fun.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you for sharing that. Question number 5, what other successful team leaders, such as yourself, would you like to recognize or that have had a positive influence in your life?
That's difficult. I can't think of a person that did that. I had a mentor in college who went against everything that he was supposed to do as faculty. Didn't care, he was so successful that having that job didn't matter to him, and he was so bright, taught me so much, and everything I wanted to do is more. But what I learned from him and others was it's not about me, it's about other people. And so I kind of take that at everybody, I treat the dog that way. So kids, I don't know about dog, but but for emphasis, we'll say dog.
Right.
But yeah, you get along with people. You always see it through their eyes. My wife chides me sometimes because kid has a problem or is she's mad at him or whatever, and these are my adult children. So phone call and they're saying, oh, that stupid kid or friend or whatever. And I go, well, on the other hand, and I reframe it in a positive way. And she says, you're always taking their side. But yes, that's true. You really should be always seeing the other person's side. It's difficult. I don't always do it, but always taking a look at what's going on in their head. It's actually great in gameplay. And life is a game. Business is a game, whatever you're playing and positioning in that. So even if you were evil and just doing it to try to get ahead, treating people right works. And it works so much better. There's so much joy if you really get into giving instead of getting.
Mm-hmm. That's great insight. Thank you for sharing that. Final question. Tell us about your first job.
First job was Der Wiener Schnitzel. Made hot dogs. Worked in a part of the town that was, I didn't know at the time because, I don't have a prejudice bone in my body, but I didn't know that I was there. I stood out as the white kid working there and made some hot dogs, and they had overhired, so I was only there for a couple of weeks. But it was great. Met some great guys that had, didn't have white skin, and nobody talked about the race at all. I just recall that, and so it's been something I've sought out in my life, accepted. That I live in a neighborhood where I'm the guy that stands out, that's different. Lived in foreign countries and done the same thing. And the diversity is great. That's why I choose to live in Las Vegas right now. Even without all the visitors while we're in lockdown, we get, on average, we get 45 million visitors through here. But when I go to the local grocery store, I'm seeing people speaking foreign languages, and it's not Spanish. So it's, clicks and tonal languages and things like that. And I just enjoy that because it's a different culture. And so, and I got it from the very first job that I only learned in hindsight.
Learned at an early age. Good for you. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Warren. I appreciate you being on the podcast today. How can people find you?
WarrenWhitlock.com or at Warren Whitlock, WarrenWhitlock. I have, very open. Google me. You find lots. I'm not the African American that worked for Obama, and I'm not a pediatrician in Florida, but they pop up sometimes. But other than that, 40 pages of me. Love to connect with you. I'd love to have somebody tweet me and tell me about an insight they got from watching this. And, and I don't mind people saying, you were great, but I don't, that part I don't care about. I'm here to serve. So tell me you learned something, and that'd be fantastic. Or ask me any question.
That's great. Thank you for being so generous with your time and your willingness to connect with people. That's great.
It's my joy.
This is Sean Richards with the Team Engagement Podcast. For more ideas, you can find us on LinkedIn by searching Blue Sky Business Consulting. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great day.